you love music? Music news and guest interviews with artists from all around the world across many different genres? My name's Nolan and I love music. In fact, I love music so much I created a podcast entirely dedicated to it called Every Podcast I Love Is Dead. Every week is a brand new episode where I interview musicians, artists, podcasters, radio hosts, and so much more. New episodes are available every Thursday on all your favorite podcast streaming platforms, and you can check us out on social media and at everypodcastiloveisdead.com. Hope you can join me.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Cognitive Discourse. I'm glad you're back here with me again for another exciting episode. Now, before we get into it, I just want to apologize. We do have people working at my building. They've been working for the past 5 days on stuff that they need to work on, so I've been trying not to record, but they were supposed to be done yesterday and they're still doing stuff. So I figured, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna try to record, and I would just want to put it out there and apologize if you hear some background noise. They are in my patio, so if you're a returning listener, you knew back in February when we had the snowstorm, we got hit pretty hard where I live, and we had lost power for a whole week. And then once we got power back, we were without water for a whole week. Excuse me. And the problem with that was that, or not the problem with it, but the reason why the water had to be shut off for a whole week was because we had bursted pipes all through the apartment complex. And one of our buildings was one of the worst buildings, go figure. And so they had hired contractors to come in to basically replace all the walls. So in my laundry room, me and my neighbor, they took the walls apart in there and basically just left the framing, and they were going to replace it. And it's now, September, and they're just now fixing it. So in March is when they did the work. They basically destroyed the walls. And so from March until now, I've basically been able to see my neighbor's patio because we've had a hole there. So now they're finally fixing it. They put the walls up fairly quickly and stuff, but I think now they're just kind of painting and stuff like that. And they better put my washer and dryer back. I told them to put it back. So hopefully they put it back. And they hook it up properly. But yeah, so just a heads up. That's why you may be hearing some banging, some yelling, and whatnot in the background. So that's what's going on. But good news is that we're finally getting it fixed. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that. I can finally have my laundry room back the way it was and get my shelf back so I can put my stuff back in there. But that's not what today's episode's about today. Today's episode, I wanted to further talk about video games. So for you guys that aren't into video games, this episode may not be for you, but the topic based around it might still be something you're interested in listening to for all my gamer friends out there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. But in the past, I did an episode where we talked about Outriders and my frustration with Outriders and my frustration with how that game basically had a chance to do something great and kind of flopped and really proved to gamers that developers and these companies like the Activision and EA, these titans, don't really give two shits about the consumer. They just want to pump out product, and they want to just see what the quickest money grab is going to be. And again, that shows with DLC and all that stuff. So I wanted to kind of further that. And on my other show that I do called Basic Ass Dudes, we just did an episode where we talked about our top 5 first-person shooters. And the funny thing about that was that I really got to see where my like the height of my gaming was, and that was in the PS3 days. Every game that I picked that was on my top 5 was during the PS3 era. Granted, the height, I think, of first-person shooters, the prime of first-person shooters was during that generation, the PS3 and the 360 days. They're still fairly popular now, but I don't think it's anywhere near what it was. And again, numbers may say different. Like if you check sales and stuff, that may be that may contradict what I'm saying. But I feel like, and again, maybe it was an age thing, but I feel like we had more fun and the games were more engaging back then during that era, which is why I think PS3, for me, garnished a better experience and just overall fun and playability when it came to first-person shooters in that respect. So I kind of wanted to talk about that today and kind of go over, I started looking at that. I got my PS3 running again and started playing PS3, and my PS4 is kind of taking a back seat. So I kind of wanted to just go over that of why the PS4, in my opinion, has taken a back seat. For me personally, why I'm not too excited about the PS5, and why I feel that overall, I think retro gaming, and I throw PS3 and 360 in that category of retro gaming because they've the height of that gaming took place in the mid 2000s. So in my eyes, it's retro, and I think majority of you guys would probably agree with me. But I feel like retro gaming is going to make a comeback. You're already starting to kind of see it. Not only with just YouTube is a perfect example. I have a lot of channels that I watch of people who do not just video game, but they go yard sale and garage sale hunting. They do Goodwill hunting. They go to these places and they try to find retro stuff, not just games but other things. And again, that's the difference between me as a collector versus them as resellers. I'm not looking to resell stuff. I'm looking to build a collection. So I kind of have a little disdain for people who are trying to, sell, turn around and flip a stuff, because at the end of the day, it does drive up prices and, but it's the name of the game. You know what I mean? So I don't have too much hate for them, but from a collector standpoint, I'm like, man, like, I hate having to pay some of these crazy prices because these fucking sellers are just, they're buying up the entire market and because they want to sell to people like me. You know what I mean? So that could be a whole nother episode if you guys want me to ever talk about like kind of the difference between those two. Have I thought about being a reseller? Yes. I think every collector at some point maybe thinks that way. Especially if it's something that's not within their collection, a certain thing that they're collecting, but they know it's valuable. I think that there may be minor collector / resellers where they're like, I don't really collect this, but I saw it and I know it's worth something, so I turn around and flip it. So, I think there is a blurred line there with certain collectors, but I think let me put it this way. I think most collectors, all collectors can be resellers, but not all resellers are collectors, if that makes sense. I'll put it that way. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So the PS3 was for me the definitive console. But now going back and playing the PS3, my love for the PS3 has grown so much more. Experiencing the PS4. I didn't get the PS4 till later in its cycle. I actually bought my original PS4 right when they were coming out with the PS4 Pro. And at the time, I didn't really know what the hell the difference was. And then, of course, the guy, believe it or not, wasn't even trying to upsell me on the PS4 Pro. Had he, I probably would have bought it. But I ended up just getting the regular PlayStation 4. And at the time it came with, and I remember why I got it too, because it had came with Infinite War, I think is what that one was called. The one that came with the remastered version of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That was the reason I bought that one. That was the reason why I bought it, because I was like, I want that game, and it's with the PS4. Looking back, I probably should have just bought the Pro and then bought the game too. In hindsight, but this one was bundled, so I went ahead and got it. And again, I got it because, I got Sony suckered me, man. They were like, here's Modern Warfare, remastered. So it sold me on that console. I took it home. I started playing it, and it just didn't capture the same essence that what Call of Duty 4 was on the PS3. I tried to lie to myself and convince myself that it was a fun game, and I put a few hours into it. Didn't play Infinite Warfare. I feel like I wasted my money when it came to that. I didn't really play that game. I wasn't into the later Call of Duty games for the jumping around and stuff, which I've covered in Basic Ass Dudes. If you haven't checked out that episode, by the way, go to YouTube and type in Basic Ass Dudes. It's episode 3 called Target Acquired. We talk about our top 5 FPS shooters. But, my main gripe with the PS4, and I believe the PS5 is the same way, but my main gripe is the fact that I have no use of physical media with that game. And like I said, this is kind of like a follow-up to the original episode that I did, because I covered that. Like, I'm a little sad that physical media is kind of disappearing, There are a lot of us out there that like physical media. My boy Carlos, I know you're listening to this. Shout out to you, man. Like, he's one of those guys, man. Like, his music collection is so amazing. Like, he posts his stuff on Instagram and stuff, and he's got just albums and vinyls and box sets, and he's a collector of music. And I like seeing stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, I'm starting to fall back into the whole retro gaming thing. Is that that's something that I missed with PS4, and something that I'm gonna miss with PS5. It's why I'm not in a hurry to get a PS5, because my PlayStation 3 collection it's not huge, but it was. I had a pretty vast collection of PS3 games before PS4 came out. And I like the fact that, the only real initial download of a game is the first time you play it. It's got to download the file onto your PS3. But for the most part, you can just swap out discs. If I feel like playing Modern Warfare, I can pop it in. And then, I don't want to play this no more. Let me pop in Resistance 2. I'm going to pop that in. Oh, you know what? I don't feel like playing this. Oh, my kid wants to play? Okay, Ultimate Alliance 2. Let's throw that in there. Oh, she doesn't want to play. She wants to play Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay, cool. Let's throw that in there. Oh, you want to play some Mortal Kombat? Cool. Being able to swap discs out. That's what I miss. Being able to play games on the fly. Discs, cartridges, even all the way back to floppies. I miss being able to have that physical media, putting it in there. With the PS4, I didn't see the point in buying physical copies. I only have a couple PS4 games in my library, and a vast majority of them, I gave them away to my old maintenance guy. He no longer works here, but when he did work here, he had a son who had a PS4, and I gave him a fuck ton of games because I didn't see the point in keeping the discs. And it bugs me. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, with the PS4, I'm not sure how the Xbox works, but I know with the PS4, you put the disc in, and it downloads the entire game. Right? Not just a section of the game, but the entire game. And it takes up a fuck ton of space. Okay? So not only does it take up a fuck ton of space, but there's really no point in having the disc after that. Like, I don't understand why I have to. You still have to have the disc to play the game, right? So you still have to put the disc in there to play the game. So it really makes no difference. The disc and then just downloading it from the PlayStation Store and having a digital copy, they're basically the same thing now. There's no point in having the disc. It just takes up shelf space. And then again, if you need to make room in your PS4 and you want to play another game, you have to delete another game and then put. So it's just, and then I know people will be like, well, get a bigger hard drive, get more hard drive. Why? Like, I don't like that. I like the fact that I can have a collection of 100 fucking PS3 games and be able to just, change them out when I want and not have the full game fully downloaded onto my PlayStation taking up room. So PS4, I ended up switching all the way to digital. Like, I have a fuck ton of games in my game library, my digital game library. But the problem is if I want to play one, if it's not downloaded onto the console itself, I have to download it before I can play it. So if I have a friend, for instance, I was playing, I leave Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's one of the games that I keep on my PlayStation 4. It takes up a lot of space. Elder Scrolls was one that I had on there. It takes up a lot of space. One of the reasons why I stopped playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the PS4, the newer one, was because it basically took up almost all my... If I wanted to play that game with all the updates that game got, that's the only game I could keep on my system. So if my friend's playing Division 2 and I happen to catch him on, I'm like, hey man, I want to play, I got that game. Well, I can't just pop it in and start playing with him. If it's not downloaded, got to go to my library, got to pull it out, got to download it. Oh shit, I got to make room. Okay, go delete some games and figure out how I can fucking manage to get this on there. Once it's there, okay, well now dude, I got to wait about an hour or so because now it's got to fucking download. By that time, he's already like, all right man, well I'll play with you tomorrow because I'm going to bed. Cool. That's my frustration with PS4. Versus the PS3, you hop on, see what your friends are playing, and then you just grab the disc that you have and pop it in, and you're ready to go. So that's why I've kind of started to pull more towards that. And honestly, seeing the way the PS4 is, seeing the way the PS5 is, I've lost a lot of friends to PC. I think a lot of people that were, console gamers realized the dumbness of what the PS4 and PS5 were offering, and it's like, fuck that, I'll just pay the money and get a badass PC. Just build a badass PC with a lot of fucking memory and be done with it. So I've lost a lot of friends to PC, man. And I'm thinking about going that route myself. I don't have the room right now, but once I have the space, I'm thinking about possibly doing PC. Plus, I think it'd just be easier to stream on Twitch if I ever decide to actually become a Twitch streamer. Don't know if I actually want to, but who knows? I might. And I think PC would probably be the best way to go. I mean, that's more... I got to learn how to do all that shit, but I think that's more of where people's heads are going. Like, fuck PS4, fuck PS5, fuck Xbox. Like, if I have to... What's the point of having physical media if it doesn't really serve any purpose? Like, I used to love going and driving to the store. I used to love the midnight releases. Those are fun. Seeing other people, seeing the joy on people's faces when they got the game. See the people fucking gloating about their fucking $150 waste of money box sets that they buy, It was fun. You don't get that anymore. Another thing that I really miss, which I mentioned on the bad episode, was, campaigns. Story modes. Game developers have gone full into multiplayer only games. And that's fun, that's cool. But sometimes I just want to sit down and play a good fucking story. And graphically, the way things are looking now, shit. Why wouldn't I want to play a fucking badass campaign? Got these badass graphics on a 4K fucking TV. Why not? But now everything's multiplayer only. It's frustrating. Something else that's very minimal that most people may not have noticed, I don't know. But going through my PS3 collection, again, with physical media, opening up those cases, there was so much love and attention to detail with these games versus what we get now. Try to find an old PS3 game if you have one, or if you have a friend that does, and open them. Something like Skyrim. Open Skyrim up. There's a manual in there. There's a map. And mind you, the map's made out of a fucking badass quality paper. I don't know what the hell it's made out of, but it's made out of a good quality type of paper. But not only that, the PS3 took advantage of the way the cases were. So the PS3 cases were clear. So when you open up the PlayStation 3 case and you take the disc out and you take the books out, some of the developers on certain games, and I'm saying Skyrim because I know for a fact Skyrim has one, but if you remove all that stuff, the cover, the paper that's the cover, it's two-sided. So you get this really cool scenic view on the inside of the case. Now, that may not matter to certain people. The younger generation probably could give two fucks about it. But for me, man, that's something that I love, man. That, to me, that shows, love and attention to detail, pride in their work. That's ultimately what my whole rant was on that last episode. And that's kind of how I feel today. Looking back at all these old games, there was just something about them. The presentation was there. The gameplay was there. The stories were there. The multiplayer was just an extension of the game. And I wish we'd go back to that. I think that's where we've lost our way a little bit. I think that these companies got really fucking greedy, and they started to see how valuable multiplayer is, and their sights kind of changed. Because back then you had games, again, like it was about the presentation. The campaigns were good. They told good stories. You were excited to play the game as a whole, and then the multiplayer is what kept the game alive. And in my core, I fucking hate loot boxes, and I'll continue to hate loot boxes because I feel like those ruined the gaming industry. It fed into the greed. It fed into people who aren't good gamers, but can still get the upper hand and get the advantage if their wallets are deeper. It no longer was about skill. It was no longer about trying to find a quality group of friends that you could play as a squad and dominate. No, it was about who has the deeper pockets. So yeah, that's been a frustration of mine, for real. Like going back and playing the PS3 games, I've been having a blast on them, man, because you get a whole game. I don't mind DLC, and I said that in the last episode, and I'll say it again. I don't mind DLC. I will pay for DLC if you make a good game, if you make a great game, if you make a game that keeps making me come back. Again, a DLC is like bacon on a cheeseburger. It enhances the flavor. But I gotta like your cheeseburger first. If I don't like your cheeseburger and your cheeseburger ain't worth dick, I'm not gonna give a fuck about what you put on it. But if you make a solid fucking cheeseburger and then you offer me some bacon, oh, baby. You already know. That's what I did with the original Call of Duties. Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2, I got every single map pack that came out, I believe. Black Ops 1 and 2, I think I did the same. But give me a reason to want to plop down more than $60. I feel like games, if you're going to go with loot boxes and you're going to go with this pay to win mentality, make the game free. I think you'd have less griping. If you're going to do that, again, because I'm one of those kind of guys, if I'm playing a free-to-play game, and it's a good game, and I'm having fun with it, I don't mind plopping down a little bit of cash to, again, enhance my play. But I don't see the point in paying $60 for a game, now $70 for the PS5 shit, plopping down that kind of money, and I'm only getting a percentage of the game. I'm getting 85% of the game, or 90%. No, give me 100% of the goddamn game. Quit cheating me out of stuff. That's what's killing the industry, and that's what's making people bounce back to retro games, man. Make sure your game's fucking good before you release it. Stop relying on these fucking post patches. Make a good goddamn game. Nintendo 64 didn't have that. Super Nintendo didn't have that. PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 didn't have that. The original Xbox didn't have that. See where I'm going? Solid games. You got what you paid for. Nowadays, it's just so easy to half-ass shit. And people still pay. That's the sad fucking part. We have communities and communities that bitch, moan, and groan, just like I'm doing right now, about shitty fucking games, yet you still buy them. I've stopped. Outriders was the last fucking PS4 game that I bought. And that was the last game in years that I bought at fucking retail price. Almost every single game on my PS4, besides maybe Outriders and Division 2, every other game on that fucking console that I have, I bought on sale. And the only physical game that I paid full retail price for the PS4 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I was excited for that game when it came out. It wasn't the best fucking Call of Duty, but I was excited that it was boots on the ground again. I was excited that it kind of went back to basics, and it was although it wasn't what Modern Warfare Call of Duty 4 was, it was still a decent game. I had fun with it. I think a lot of people had fun with that game. But with the amount of fucking updates that you had, it got ridiculous. What was the fucking point? I was done with that game after that. All those damn updates really killed the game for me. I love that game so much that when it dropped, I literally went out and bought my wife a PS4 and Call of Duty as well, because she wanted to learn how to play games. I said, well, let's go get you a PS4. I bought Call of Duty fucking twice. Only not to play it anymore. And even then, had I not bought the physical copy, okay, this is another thing I want to point out. So, the physical copies are useless. They really are. I went and bought a physical copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And then when I bought my wife her PlayStation, because I did that, I had to go buy her a physical copy. Had I bought it from the PlayStation Store, all I had to do was put my account on her PlayStation, sign into my account on her PlayStation, download it from my library onto her PlayStation, log out, log back into her account, and boom, she can play Call of Duty. I would have been able to play Call of Duty on both systems for the price of one. So again, they're so worried about losing out on money. Dude, like, you've made physical media almost like useless to the point where we don't really need it. And then if I want to play with my wife on a certain game, I just buy it from the fucking PlayStation Store, download it onto hers, and then we're good. She has all the games that I have because she's done that already. She did the exact same thing. And I know a lot of y'all out there already know how to do that. So what's the point of physical media? Granted, it's something that I've been pulling off since the PS3 days. A lot of people on the PS3 did it as well. We did it with map packs. But, I mean, at the end of the day, again, it's just, I want games to go back to what they were, man. Focus on making a solid game. We have so many people out there that are just mindless drones that will just buy whatever the fuck is regurgitated. That, I mean, in a way, I guess I can't really blame these companies. People are buying the shit. I, for one, am not. I'm going back, dude. PS3 games are so fucking cheap right now. Even with retro games starting to kind of become a thing again, PS3 games are fucking cheap right now, man. If you have a PS3, if you have an Xbox 360, dude, go back and buy those. And for the most part, some of those servers, multiplayer servers, are still up and running. Let's flood those servers again, man. Black Ops 2 still works. Black Ops 1 still works. Pretty much all the Call of Duties are up and running. Sadly, Resistance 2 isn't. I tried to play last night. But something's got to change, man. Something's got to change. So, like I said, I'm adding to my PS3 collection. I'm on the lookout for a Nintendo 64. There's a few games that I want to get on the Nintendo 64. I'm even thinking about getting an Xbox 360. I want to get an Xbox 360 just for the Xbox exclusives. I never got to play Left 4 Dead. I'd like to be able to play that. I want to play the story mode to the Gears of War series. Never really got to play those. Of course, have Halo in the collection just because, he's basically their flagship character. So, yeah, man, I'm enjoying going back and looking at it. And I watch a lot of YouTubers who are, retro gaming collectors. And, the good thing is that, I'm not one of those collectors that I'm not looking to collect super rare games. I'm not looking to collect games that I'm like, oh man, this game is worth so much money. Like I'm a gamer. Like I want to buy games that I remember playing. I want to experience newer games, new to me anyway. Like classic games that maybe have a cult following, and so I'm not looking to buy games to be like, this is the holy grail. I need this for my collection to just. I'm not trying to complete a collection. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm merely a collector of things that I like. And that goes with pretty much everything that I collect. I'm trying to build my PS3 collection up. I'm trying to, when I get a 64, I know right off the bat the first two games that I'm going to look for my 64 are going to be WWF No Mercy and WCW NWO Revenge. I also want WrestleMania 2000. I want Mario Kart. I want Smash Bros. I want some Mario Party games, which I know are going to be kind of expensive. The Destruction Derby. Destruction Derby is not a great game, but I have a lot of nostalgia attached to that game. I mean, I think overall that game would be fun to play with the kiddos, So I would like to be able to experience that with my kids, to show them what I was into when I was a kid, And there's a bunch of other games on the 64 that I want, but those are the ones that I know for sure that are like on my list. And again, you hearing that list, that shows you that I'm not one of those collectors that's like I need the end all be all rare expensive games. These games that I buy are going to be played. Now, granted, as a collector, if I can go out and find these games with the original box and it's in good shape, that's a plus for me. Because again, as a collector, as a gamer, I want the game to work. As a collector, I want to be able to show them off. You know what I mean? I want to have a shelf to show off my collection. So that's the collector part in me, is that I want to be able to play these games, but also be able to display them for people when they come over. And like I said, I collect a lot of things, man. Like I have a Sons of Anarchy collection. I have a fucking Squirtle collection. I have anytime I run into, when I go, toy hunting or game hunting, if I come across a Squirtle plushie or a Squirtle toy or anything Squirtle related, I buy it. Deadpool's the same thing. I have a Deadpool collection. We have a Rogue collection because my daughter's name is Rogue. Any X-Men related Rogue items that I find, I buy. Now, mind you, some of these collections are harder to find things than others. Squirtle is pretty uncommon to find, believe it or not. He's not the most popular Pokemon, so it's a little hard to find stuff dedicated to him. And I'm talking anything Squirtle. I have Squirtle figurines. I have Squirtle plushies. I have a Squirtle Pez dispenser. Anything I find with Squirtle on it, I buy it. Sons of Anarchy is more common to find, believe it or not. But again, I did a lot of my buying of that stuff when the show was in its prime. Deadpool stuff is starting to become way easier to find. I've been a Deadpool fan for many, 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 many years since I was a kid. Deadpool just always looked cool to me. And so it was a bummer when I was younger and you had, the Spider-Man trilogy and you had the original X-Men movies coming out and you had all this stuff coming out before Iron Man. This is pre-Iron Man. Trying to find Deadpool stuff was kind of hard. He gained popularity, which, some people moan and groan about that. But for me, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm glad. Dude, I love when my shit goes mainstream. Stuff that I like, I love it when it goes mainstream. I don't get butthurt about it because I look at it from a point of view of like, fuck yeah, if it's going mainstream, that means more shit's going to get produced, which means I have a chance to get more stuff, which means that if the market gets flooded, great, because prices go down and I can buy this shit fucking cheap. Rare stuff is cool, but I like the characters, man. I don't care about the rarity. I don't care about how underground something is. That shit doesn't fucking matter to me. I'm a fucking adult. I don't care about that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck if you like them or not. I do. And so if something becomes popular that I like, I get fucking hype about it. Because again, more stuff gets produced, which means the prices go down, and which means I can afford to buy a lot more stuff. So my Deadpool collection has gotten a lot bigger over the years because he's fucking on everything. He's on t-shirts, he's on Funko Pops, he's on fucking mystery grab bags, he's on piggy banks, he's on wallets, he's on I got it all, man. Like I got all kinds of shit that's Deadpool related. He's a good portion of my Marvel Legends collection. So yeah, I'm letting you guys know a little bit about myself when it comes to collections, I guess. I've kind of gone off the rails here, but it's something that, I am passionate about. I love collecting things, and it's one of those things that when I watch people on YouTube, I see flippers, and then I see people who are just after the rare stuff, and I think that's one of the reasons why, I don't super hate flippers, because a lot of flippers will go after super rare stuff. The only time I really butt heads with a flipper is if it's something that I want that happens to be kind of rare. And then, yeah, I have to kind of battle with them a little bit. And, prices get driven up for no fucking reason. But perfect example, like Rogue. Rogue isn't a super popular character. And because of it, there's not a lot of stuff that is Rogue related. But the plus side is because she's not a sought after character, for the most part, she's not too expensive. So that's a plus for me. Now, if she gains in popularity and nothing gets produced based off that popularity, that's when my frustration is going to come in, because I'm like, fuck, because the stuff was already hard to find, and now she's gaining popularity, so now she's even harder to find, and the stuff that I do find, prices will go up. And so I'm not looking forward to that. I like where Rogue is on the spectrum of, fanability to the other X-Men. But yeah, like Rogue stuff, I'm always on the look for Rogue, because my goal is I want to have a Rogue collection for my daughter. As she gets older, we kind of explain to her, this is why your name is. We named you after a fucking X-Men. We're complete nerds, and, this is the character. I'm not trying to push her to like the character, but, it's just kind of one of those cool things where it's like, yeah, this is who you're named after. So, your dad has a collection of of Rogue figurines and posters and stickers and whatnot. Of course, that's why I wanted to name my son Gambit, but we had my daughter first, so she got the name. And once we had Rogue, I was like, I'm not naming my son Gambit. For you comic book nerds, y'all know why. For those that don't, Rogue and Gambit were an item at one point, so it wouldn't be wise to have your brother and sister have that name combo, I guess. Although if they got teased for it, and it's kind of like you can tease the guys teasing you back, being like, well, how do you fucking know that, you nerd? You know what I mean? But yeah, so I have Rogue collection, have a Deadpool collection, have Squirtle collection, have Sons of Anarchy collection, I got gun collection, I got guitar collection, I collect a bunch of fucking things. You know what I mean? But in the nerd world, I definitely like when stuff gets popular. I enjoy it because then that means that, like I said, if something catches on, like Deadpool did, Deadpool caught on like wildfire. Ryan Reynolds got a hold of him, and I love it. I'm happy for it. I'm happy because I got really cool Deadpool things that I never thought I'd get. When the first Deadpool came out, the theater we went to were giving out pint glasses. So I have pint glasses, Deadpool pint glasses that are probably super rare now because they only gave out a handful of them, and I got 2 of them. So again, it's little things like that I really love. And if I happen to stumble upon something that's rare, or a hot ticket item that's sought after, that's even cooler, man. Not that I would sell it, but it's cool to know that that's in my collection. But yeah, man, I'm one of those collectors that, like, I don't care about the rarity. I don't care about how many were made or anything like that. Now, granted, if I do get something, like I have a Deadpool statue that is one of, I think, 1,200, or I think it might be one of 1,200, but it's a statue, and it's the one of, like, I have the sticker on it. It says one of, I think it's 12,000 or 1,200. Sorry. I have to look at it, but anyway, I know it's one of, and because of that, I haven't taken it out of the box. I had bought it to take it out of the box to display it, but then I saw that sticker on there. I was like, man, I'm not cutting that. I'm gonna leave it just the way it is. Again, not for reselling, not so I could be like, it's rare, and when I sell it, I want it to be worth a shit ton of money. It's more of a principle for me. It's the one of, like, and just that sticker, seeing that sticker in pristine shape, and the box being in pristine shape, it's like, I just have to. It's the same way I don't take my all the Marvel Legends that I buy. They're all in the boxes. So there is a collector side to it. Will I ever take them out and make dioramas and all that fun stuff? Maybe. But for now, I like the way they look in the package. I take pride in companies that take pride in their marketing. Marvel Legends boxes, when they think outside of just the figure, and they put thought into the box and the way it's packaged, I can respect that. I can appreciate it, which is why I don't pull them out the box and just throw the box away. I look at it as a whole piece, not just there's an action figure and it's inside of a box. I look at the entire product as a potential art piece, and I display them. I have them all displayed on my wall with pride. So, But anyway, I got completely off topic. But just know that I do love retro gaming, and I prefer retro gaming over the newer stuff. And maybe that's just me getting old. Maybe I'm turning into a fucking hipster. I don't know. I know that I'm not doing shit ironically. I just didn't really care for my experience with the PS4. Probably not really going to enjoy the PS5 experience. And so it's like being able to play the PS4, and then I realized that I pulled away from gaming and I just wasn't into it, and then jumping back in the PS5 and that reigniting my love for gaming, really kind of, it made me want to talk about it. It's something that I wanted to kind of discuss. So yeah, I'm curious, man. How do you feel about this episode? How do you feel about retro gaming? Are you into retro gaming? How do you feel about the PS4 and PS5? Do you own a PS5? Are you one of the lucky ones that didn't have to fucking fight with scalpers and you were able to buy it at actual market value and not have to pay over? Did you pay over? Why did you pay over? Fuck those scalpers. Don't give them your money. Let me know. Let me know in the comments, man. Like, what do you feel about retro gaming? Do you think retro gaming is going to come back? Are you into retro gaming already? Like, have you been a collector? How long have you been collecting? What are your views on the newer consoles and on the next gens? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Like, I'm willing to have that conversation with you guys down in the comments. Just let me know. If you want to shoot me an email, you can get a hold of me at cognitivediscoursepodcast@gmail.com. That's cognitivediscoursepodcast@gmail.com. Send me an email if you have a long reply and you want me to reply on air to your email. Other than that, you can find us on Facebook. You can join the Facebook group. Just type in the Cognitive Discourse and we're there. You can find me on YouTube as well. Just type in the Cognitive Discourse on YouTube and we'll pop up. I am behind once again on that. I've been doing a bunch of other stuff, so I need to catch back up with some of the newer episodes. But we do have a YouTube channel. I pretty much put a lot of my energy into the streaming side of things with the Cognitive Discourse. But yeah, if you can listen to us on Spotify and a bunch of other streaming services. Let me know which one you're listening on, because I don't know exactly all of the streaming services that I'm on. I know that we're on like Spotify, we're on Stitcher, I think we're on Podbean. I believe we might even be on Apple. And I don't know I know there's a bunch of other ones that we're probably on. But if you're listening on the one that I didn't mention, let me know which one you're on, because I'm still trying to figure out how many of these fucking streaming sites we're on. Every time I download a podcast app, I try to put my podcast in to see if we're on there. But yeah, man, all the links will be down in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, all the links will be down in the description. If you're listening, links should be down there as well, in the bio. But yeah, man, if you want to support the show, buy some merch. I would appreciate that a bunch. That's one of the best ways to financially support the show. We don't got no sponsors. We don't have ads. So if you want to do that, that's awesome. But yeah, really don't know what else to say for this episode, so I guess we're going to end it there. It seems like the guys are finally quiet. I don't hear any more banging going on. So again, I apologize if you can hear some thumping and hammering and all that fun stuff in the background. I do apologize, but I think they're done. I haven't heard them for the past 10-15 minutes. So, of course, now that I'm winding down, right? But thanks for tuning in. And as always, enjoy your Friday. Have a safe weekend. And until next time.